Welcome to But I'm a Lesbian, the podcast where we serve alt baddie sass, queer film reviews, and everything in between. Whether you're a baby gay
or a queer elder, we're here, we're queer, and we're diving deep into all things lesbian. We're your hosts, Katlynn
and Angelina.
Get ready for some sapphic serotonin. On today's episode, we're discussing the newest sapphic Black Mirror episode. The episode is called Hotel Reverie, and it stars Issa Rae and Emma Corrin. If you'd like to watch it, it's available on Netflix, and it is season 7, episode 3.
Katlynn, are you a fan of the show?
No. But well, we'll get into the episode. I did like this episode, but I did not watch the show really ever before because people kept talking about it years ago, like when it first started in like 2011. Mm-hmm. And I watched the first episode because I like to do things in order, even though it's an anthology. So I watched episode 1 of season 1, and it was like about a guy having to fuck a pig, and that was very disturbing.
Yeah,
so I stopped watching it. I was like, I'm never gonna watch this
You're
again.
Like, who recommended this?
Yes, I was like, you guys are weird. And every time I've mentioned that to someone that's a fan, they're like, oh no, that's just the worst episode. Like, don't judge it off of that episode. But I'm like, okay, but why would they make that the first episode ever if they don't want to be judged off of that?
Maybe they were trying to make a statement, but what statement are you trying to like?
The statement was,
we go there?
Like, yeah, this is going to be shocking.
Yeah.
Don't watch this. Okay, well, do you watch it?
No.
Okay. I kind of felt like no, because you seem surprised about the pig thing.
Yeah, no, I have not watched it. I did kind of have a similar experience to you. I watched one episode, but it was like it's literally the one right before San Junipero. And it's a crazy one.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy. And so I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But other than this one and that one, no, I'm not a big fan of the show.
Okay. Well, I am glad that we listened to so many people's requests in my life saying that we should watch this one because I liked it. Mm-hmm. And in season 1, we are going to also discuss the other lesbian episode. We're going to talk about that. Yes, we're going to talk about that next episode.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I think we can go into hot takes on the episode if you're ready.
Yeah. What is your hot take?
Okay. I wouldn't have thought of this as a hot take, except that I saw so much, I think rhetoric would be the right word. Mm-hmm. I saw so much discussion on TikTok about people saying that Issa Rae's performance was really bad and that they could tell that she like wasn't queer because she didn't seem like she loved the other girl. Mm-hmm. And I don't agree with that. I think she did really good. So my hot take is that she did a really good job and the acting in this is phenomenal and people should just calm down about it. No offense if you didn't like it. But I'm not a fan of that idea that she was bad. What do you think? Did you think she was bad?
No, okay. I feel like for the most part, her acting, it's going to be a little like off because she's like the only real person. Everyone else is AI. So she's trying to, get into character with that. And then also I feel like them saying like the chemistry, maybe there wasn't chemistry for them, but I feel like there was chemistry between them. You know?
Yeah.
Like, who knows? We don't know if this is her first experience, like, being with a woman. We don't know any of that. So, of course, she's not going to just be like, I know everything. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like.
But that makes me think of everyone that's listening to this probably knows this, but I don't know. On the L Word, back in like 2004, what's Jennifer Beals?
Yeah.
Accidentally outed Kate Menig, Shane, my love, because she said that when she's doing sex scenes, she will ask one of the gay women on the show, like Leisha or Kate, oh, what would you do? Or how would you do this? So she accidentally outed her because of that. But anyway, that made me think of it because it could have been like kind of awkward. if she hasn't done this before. But maybe she hasn't. She just feels awkward because I think I would feel awkward doing like any sort of like a sex scene on camera.
Yeah, on camera.
But I'm also not a professional actor. But point being.
But you're a professional lesbian.
Yes, I am. That's exactly. So maybe I would be good at it. Just the lesbian part. Anyway, what was your hot take?
My hot take was, okay, and spoilers, this is a spoiler. So if you want to watch this, go watch it and then come back for my hot take. But I think that Brandy, aka Alex, could have stopped them resetting the scene and saving Dorothy. She was just like, no, because they were also having that conversation where she was like, do you love me because you love me or because you were written to love Alex? So she was unsure. So I feel like a part of her was like, I don't want to lose this, but also I'm not sure. Yeah. So she was like, all right, let's like, I feel like she was just like, okay, she could have done more.
No, she could have done more. And I thought that when I was watching it too. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, now you're going to say, oh, no, stop.
Yeah. Like, you could have been like, hold on. Like, there could have been so many things that she could have done. But she was just like, no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Like, they're going to listen? They're like, girl, let's get on with the movie.
It was
like,
too late. I agree with you. So coming up next, we'll dive deeper into the recap. But now it's time for a quick break. So grab your iced lavender oat milk latte and stay tuned.
Welcome back to But I'm a Lesbian. This week we're discussing Hotel Reverie, Season 7, Episode 3 of Netflix anthology series Black Mirror.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to get into this. I'm going to try not to get too lost in the weeds because with sci-fi things, there's I get really into trying to describe it and make sure it makes sense, but hopefully you've watched it or you can visualize it.
Yeah, if you don't understand, then just look it up online.
Yeah,
honestly. This is what we know.
True. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to have to look at my notes because there is a lot. So basically, it opens on Awkwafina, which I didn't know she was in this because all I knew was that Issa Rae was in it. And I heard that Emma Corrin was in it. But I didn't know who she was. I feel bad. She does a really good job in this episode, but I've never really heard of her before.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. But I've heard of Awkwafina. And so I was like, oh, Awkwafina's in this? Her voice is so recognizable. So I was like, oh, it's her.
It is, yeah.
And so she is an executive. She's, I think, wearing like a blazer. She's a very businesswoman. Mm-hmm. And she is talking about her company that she works for or owns, I'm not sure, called Redream, which I definitely thought was Red Ream when I read it. And I was like, what does that mean? But that's just me. So she's talking to leadership from an older movie studio. So it gives the vibe of like, I don't know if anybody has read Evelyn Hugo, but this episode makes me think a lot of that book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's a surprise gay book. Well, maybe it's not a surprise to other people, but I wasn't going to read it till I saw on TikTok that it was a lesbian book. And I was like, what? I'm definitely reading it now. You need to read it if you haven't read it.
I have to read it, yeah.
They're making a movie out of it. So when they do, we will review it.
Okay.
But anyway, it gave the vibe of that kind of time period, like the early old Hollywood where actors would sign on with a movie studio and it would be like they do a bunch of movies with that studio. I don't think that's how it is anymore. Like I said, I'm not a professional actor, but so she is the head of this. Her name is Harriet. And I think her family like
wait, her name is Judith.
No.
Isn't it?
No, I thought it was Judith.
No, it is Judith. I swear it is Judith, but her real name is Harriet, like the actress.
No, it's the opposite. You guys.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yes, because on my notes, I crossed out Judith. Okay. Anyway, her name's Harriet, and she, her family like owned this, and so she said like they're in debt, they're struggling, and Kimmy's like, we should remake your classic film, Hotel Reverie. It's like black and white, old Hollywood vibe. I guess it's really famous, and she's like, no one that's famous is going to want to do this. Like, we don't have any money to pay them. And Kimmy's like, well, what if I told you that I could get an A-list actor to do it and you would only need them for 96 minutes, so you don't have to pay them that much because you're only paying them for an hour and a half. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I don't know how that would work, but sure, that would be cool, right? And so then we kind of cut from that scene and we see Issa Rae. Her character is named Brandy Friday, which is such a like Hollywood name.
It is. It really is.
And she's like, kind of looks like she's being kind of sad in her mansion. And so I think
sad in her mansion.
Yes, I think it's like giving like, she's so lucky. I don't know if I'm allowed to sing that, but it's giving Britney Spears'
Katlyn's
lucky
version,
video.
Okay?
Yeah,
no copyright.
And so she is. I think we're supposed to gather that she is an A-list actor because that's what they were talking about. And then they show her and she's rich. So she gets a call from her agent and he's like, do you want to be in this film? But it would be a supporting role. And she's like, no. Yeah. Then she goes to a meeting with him and he, I think, offers her a different supporting role. And she said, no, I want to be the main guy. And I like that she said the main guy because fuck gender norms. She's like, I'm the leading man here.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, they are remaking Hotel Reverie with some like fancy new technology. Maybe you could be, they're only looking for the man character though. And she's like, I want to be that. I want to be that. And he kind of looks at her like she's crazy, but he does let them know. I don't know.
As he should though, because she's paying
whatever.
Him,
no.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we see Kimmy and Harriet on the phone with a casting person, and that casting person says Brandy Friday wants this job. She wants to be the main guy whose name is Alex and is a doctor. And they're like, okay, yeah, she's going to be a male lead, but we got a star for this. So this is great. We're just going to, it's going to be different. And that's very 2025 of them. They're going to
That
like,
is. They
make
didn't
it gay.
even bat an eye. They're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Writing this for her.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then, so Brandy, I think she finds out she got it, or she doesn't know for sure that she got it, but she's doing research before. So she's looking up audition tapes from the main actress of Hotel Reverie, who is the one that Emma Corrin plays. Dorothy Chambers is her name. And she sees a video, she sees some videos of her auditioning, and then she sees some videos on the side that say that she died from an overdose. So now we know that she has kind of a tragic story, the actress that played the female lead. So then Brandy gets something in the mail and the carrier is like, oh my God, are you still with your boyfriend, who I guess is someone else famous? And she's like, no. So now we know she's single and we know that she has dated men. That's what we've gathered. And also I guess we know she's kind of famous, but I feel like we kind of already gathered that.
Yeah.
And so then her agent calls and is like, oh my God, you got the job. You're going to get something in the mail. And she's like, whoa, I literally already got it. So cool. And so then it says like in the materials that come in there, like there's the DVD of the original movie. And there's also a note or something saying that they're going to go in for a test on Monday. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to rewatch it right now. So she puts the DVD in, she's watching it. She keeps repeating, I'll be yours forevermore, which is the last line. So I think we can gather that this is like a very famous line, very important in the film. So then I guess it's Monday now. We go to the studio and it's a really small like studio room, and there's only Harriet, Kimmy, and some other people at like computers. And Harriet is like, oh my God, Brandy's late. We're going to run out of time. We only have the studio for a few hours. And then Brandy shows up. Basically, Brandy missed something she was supposed to get. She was supposed to get like a flash drive, right? That explained how this whole technology worked, and she didn't see that. So Brandy's like, well, okay, I mean, I'll just plug you in. Basically, she doesn't really explain how it works.
Kimmy's like, lay down.
Yeah, she's
Let's
like,
just get you going.
Lay down. I'm going to put these little things on your temples.
She's like, just relax.
Yeah.
Like, you know your lines. You're a pro.
Oh, yeah. She's like, you know your lines, right? And she's like, yeah. And so, so then she lays down, and then when she puts the little things on her temples, all of a sudden she's like in this kind of like alternate, like, universe, and it's literally like kind of building around her. It's building a scene, and then what it builds to is literally the movie scene. So it's like a black and white world, and they're like at the hotel, the hotel Reverie, and everybody is just moving around like normal, like in the movie.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And so Kimmy explains like, the people here are not real. Everything is basically AI. They were created. They only know the context of the film. Like, and so you are the only one that's acting here because they are fake people and they only know this and how it's supposed to go. And so it's a good thing she knows her lines because
can you imagine
that would be hard if she's just like, what?
She's
What do
like,
I do here? Yeah. It could be awkward, but that's why they got an A-lister. She knows what she's doing. And so so then we know that her character is Dr. Alex Palmer. I think Palmer is the last name.
Yeah.
Everyone will just accept that Dr. Alex Palmer, even though it's the 40s, is a black woman, not a white man. So that is cool. And also the character that is supposed to fall in love with her is going to fall in love with her, even though she is not a man.
Yeah.
And so once Brandy's in place, all the people start moving. So I guess they were kind of frozen when it was building. Sorry. So anyway, Clara walks in. Clara is the main character. So a lot of times throughout this recap, I'm going to say Clara/Dorothy and Brandy/Alex because it's confusing at times. So I want to make sure you know I'm talking about the same person. So Clara walks in. She's all like fabulous and beautiful. And she wants to sit down next to this old lady, and the old lady's like, no, this is for my dog. That's my dog seat. And I'm like, okay, same. Like, they act like that's crazy, and maybe that was crazy for the time period. They're in like the 40s,
but it's just so normal.
She just loves her
like,
dog.
Yeah, it's so normal now.
This is my spot for Abigail. That's my dog's name.
And Sailor.
And Sailor, but Sailor probably wouldn't, I mean, she might sit on a chair, but she's like big. Yeah. And so, anywho, she's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go sit somewhere else. And so Brandy/Alex, Dr. Alex Palmer, sees her and calls her over and is like, here, you have a seat. That's what's supposed to happen in the movie. So then they start talking and making kind of like small talk. And they order drinks, but Clara's drink is poisoned. We don't really know who's poisoning her yet, but I'm going to tell you a secret. It's her husband. So, so Brandy is supposed to save her from the poisoned drink. But first, she's supposed to play the piano. And the girl, Clara/Dorothy, is supposed to be like, oh my God, this music is so beautiful. And kind of like start to like her. Yeah. Except that she is actually doesn't know how to play the piano. Yeah. And she thought somehow that the music was just going to like magically be good. And it wasn't. So then she's embarrassed. And I feel like Clara is like embarrassed for her. It's so uncomfortable. I was embarrassed watching it.
Yeah,
like, so same. It was just not good. And so I guess in the original, Clara/Dorothy like goes outside because she's so moved by the music, and that's how she avoids drinking the drink. But because she's just kind of staring at her, embarrassing herself, that's not what happens. And so Kimmy's like, "Hey, you have to like stop her from drinking the drink." So Brandy stops her. Brandy/Alex stops her by like throwing the drink into like a plant.
Yeah, like the little the pot dirt thingy. Pot.
Yeah. And so she's like, that was kind of rude. But she did it like, look over there, and said she saw a goose, which was such a random thing to say. And then Clara gets mad because I think she kind of thinks she's like making fun of her. Yeah. But she's not. And so then Clara/Dorothy kind of storms off a little bit because she's like,
she's like, I'm done with these games.
I don't like it. And so she follows her. Brandy/Alex follows her. But she says, Dorothy. And then Clara / Dorothy kind of reacts like she knows that name, but she can't place it. And so that's weird because she's only supposed to know the context of the movie that is filming. But hearing that name brought something up in her.
It did.
Like she knew that was something important. And so then she says, oh, no, Dorothy's just somebody that I used to know and you remind me of her. And so then Clara decides to give her another chance and they start talking. And Clara's like, oh, yeah, my husband is like, he doesn't love me. He only loves the business and he never wants to hang out with me. And so that's really sad. And Clara says that she is filled with such wretchedness sometimes. And she does not say that in the original. And that makes Harriet question, like, is she sentient?
How is she? She's only AI.
Yeah. And that's kind of makes sense that she would be saying that because that's something Dorothy would say in that Dorothy seemed to have some struggles in her life from what we've seen with her early death. And so basically what some of the tech people explain is that Clara / Dorothy has grown a dimension because she heard her name. She's now, and because the actress put so much of herself into acting in this role that has now kind of become part of this AI's consciousness. So she's kind of getting glimpses of who Dorothy was. So that's kind of wild because I don't think anyone knew that was going to happen. Anyway, and so they are kind of like chatting and it seems like they're connecting. And then we find out that the dog drank the poisoned drink because Brandy Alex threw it in dog reach, on the ground. And so that's really sad, but that also messes up the entire flow and, butterfly effect wise, like every little thing has to happen or it's not going to happen right. And so since the dog drank it instead of the old lady, because the old lady's supposed to die, and then that brings a detective there, and then Dr. Brandy / Alex will diagnose him with allergies to his cologne, his own cologne. Yeah. And then later at the very end, she will almost get shot, but he will stop it because he'll say, that's the doctor. I know that doctor.
Stop.
Yes.
She diagnosed me with my allergies.
Yes, she diagnosed me with allergies. And so this little thing, I mean, it's not a little thing. The dog died, which is really sad. But this like small change really messed up everything and could result in Brandy / Alex dying, like literally getting shot at the end. So that's crazy. So they have to like fix it. And so at the studio, they're like, maybe we should just pull Brandy out. But the one of the guys that's working there, I think he's like the head tech guy. Yeah. He's like, no, if we interrupt, Brandy will probably die. Like 98% chance she's going to die. So they're like, no. We have to fix the plot hole. So then one of the other tech people is like, okay, I'll try to figure out a way to fix the plot hole, but I better get writer's credit. And they're like, okay, I guess. Like, she's better figure it out fast, girl. And so she's working. It's giving extreme improv, which, like, that's kind of my nightmare. Just for me, though. But maybe that's good for
she's thriving off of it, apparently.
Yeah, she's doing well. So then Clara and Brandy, they run into each other in the lobby. And Clara invites Dr. Palmer, Alex / Brandy, to go sightseeing, which I was like, oh my God, so gay. But also, I guess in the original, she asked the man to go sightseeing, which is also kind of crazy if she's married. But I think it shows that their marriage was not like that real. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking if I asked I don't know, a person that I would seemingly be attracted to. I don't know. It's different with the gays because I'm if I invited a girl to go sightseeing, that would be normal because it would just be my friend. But I would think that, I don't know, maybe I'm being heterophobic in some way. I'm like, no, she can't. Anyway, so she invites her. They go sightseeing. So cute. Then when they get back, Clara / Dorothy, like, trips up the stairs and she like hurts her little ankle or her leg.
Yeah, she hurts her ankle.
Yeah. And so, Dr. Palmer has to be the hero and be like, I'm a doctor. I can help you. So they go up to the room and there's like a very sensual like leg and foot touching vibe going on. And I was like, oh, I thought she was going to like suck her toes. I really did.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, oh my God, is foot stuff going to happen? I thought it looked like it. I don't know. Watch me rewatch it, and it's not even that dramatic. I really felt like the foot stuff was happening. I don't know.
That's wild for their like, time, kinky. Especially. Yeah, but you never know.
I don't know. And so then there's, you know, it seems like there's some meaningful looks and meaningful touching. I wrote it gets sexual-ish, and then a second murder attempt happens. The guy who the husband hired goes to the door and he like brings them. Does he bring them like?
He brings them like
room service or something.
Yeah, he brings them room service.
But there's a scorpion in there.
Yeah,
and the scorpion is supposed to sting.
It's supposed to
sting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say bite. Okay, the scorpion was gonna sting her and then she's gonna die. So Brandy / Alex has to save her. She like puts a cover over the scorpion.
Yeah.
And that reminds me. Have you ever seen a scorpion in person?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
Well, I was away from it. It wasn't like, it was just walking around. It wasn't like I was there and then it like came out and I was like, oh my God. But like my dad was bit by one. Yeah.
Did he have to go to the hospital or something?
Yeah, he did. But back then they were just like, put some milk on it and you're okay. And he was like,
was
okay.
This in America?
No, this was in Mexico. He grew up in Mexico.
I didn't mean to sound rude. I was like, huh.
No, yeah.
Such an interesting choice.
Yeah. They lived on like a ranch thing. And so that's common for him.
Okay. Also, your dad is kind of older than even my dad, I think. So it makes more sense too that it was like back then.
They were like, let's do that. I know. I'm like,
my dad was young. It was in the 90s. And so I'm like, they were doing that? Okay.
Yeah, no.
I thought of the scorpion. I've never seen a scorpion in real life. I was really scared to move to the town that I live in now because people kept telling me there were scorpions here, but I haven't seen any, knock on wood. But my wife saw one in Mexico. And when she was a kid, and she squished it, and she
good for her.
I know, but so sad. And we're vegans; we would never do that now.
Well, I mean, okay. I'm like, wait a second.
She says that she remembers like the feeling of like crushing it because it was so crunchy, and I feel really sad.
Wait, but was
I think
it an
she
accident?
still feels bad. No, I think she was like
Like
you know
a
when
kid?
people see a spider and they're like, ah, and squish it?
Yeah.
That's what she did with the scorpion. But
Oh.
she's like, it was so gross because it has like an exoskeleton and I don't know. I think she still feels bad about it. You should tell her it's okay later.
I'll tell her it's okay.
You killed that
It was an accident.
scorpion.
Like she wasn't planning it out or anything.
No, she just got scared.
Yeah, she was just, it's a reflex sometimes.
Yes. So anywho, I just had to talk about the scorpion thing because I think it's wild. But this is really important. They kiss. Clara Dorothy and Alex Brandy kiss. Oh my God. I was like, what? And then this creepy guy that is like one of the tech guys was being a creepy weirdo watching them kiss. And then he spilled his coffee all over all this important high-tech stuff. And it ruins everything. Basically, they lose all connection to the studio. And Brandy is like, can't hear Kimmy anymore. And I don't think I mentioned this, but she could hear Kimmy the whole time. Now she can't hear Kimmy. She doesn't know what's going on. And they look outside the door, and the bad guy is like crouched outside the door, literally frozen. And Clara Dorothy is like, what? That's weird. And Brandy starts freaking out. She's like, Kimmy. And Clara's like, who is Kimmy? And then back at the studio, they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And they basically, the tech guy says, oh, there's like a 50-50 chance that Brandy's gonna die if we don't fix this. Like
she's gonna be stuck there. If we turn it off, she's dead. So
so they're like scrambling to fix it. They do realize at some point back in the studio that the movieland is going like 6 to 7 hours per second. So they're like, it's kind of funny that it's like lesbians. Yes. I'm like, wow. Because then they totally like fall in love and it seems like it's really fast. I mean, it still is really fast, but it's like less fast than a few seconds that's happening in real time. But so Clara's so confused. They go down to the lobby. Everyone else is frozen. All the people are frozen except for Clara Dorothy and Brandy Alex. Yeah. They're the only not frozen people. And Brandy is like, you need to understand, like, you're literally not real. Like, you're not real. Everyone here is fake. This is just a movie. And she's like, what are you talking about?
She's and then, I'm real.
Yeah. And then she asks her, do you know what your dad looks like? Do you know anything about your dad except like these random facts that you've been told, like that he owns a business? And she can't think of anything. So then she does start to question her existence, which imagine how crazy that would be. You're sure that you're real. I think about this sometimes.
Where it's like what if like someone tells you like it's just not real, or like, I don't know, you can't remember something.
Yes. Or like, are we in The Sims, and my sim player is like playing my life.
Well,
and
fuck whoever is playing our Sims. Why aren't we rich and famous and like?
Well, someday.
But they should make it happen now.
But at least oh my God, they should use the motherload cheat. That's what I would always do in Sims.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, you get, I think it's 100,000 simoleons every time you type motherload. So every time I make a new sim family, which
you're like motherload.
Yes, motherload. And then I get $1 million. 1 million simoleons. Sorry.
A few moments later.
Okay, so my Sims are pretty much all gay. It used to be back in the day, they were always like all like pan people, but you couldn't make your female sim have a baby with your other female sim. And I'm obsessed with making babies in The Sims. And so I would have to turn it into a man and then have them have sex and then have it turn back into a woman. But now you can say you want your sim to be able to get others pregnant, and then you set the other one to be able to get pregnant. Anyway, point being, I mean, my Sims have never had me, whoever's playing my Sim character has never had me get pregnant, which thank goodness. I mean, I also don't have sex with men, but in The Sims, I make them, whatever. Point being, I got off track, but I just want to say, I also put a note in here that I wrote, Clara looks like Mae Martin.
She does. She actually does.
Met another person in real life that looks like Mae Martin. I told my wife about it and I showed a picture of her and she said she doesn't look like her. So I think every skinny white girl with like big eyes looks like Mae Martin.
Okay, well, I'm gonna need to see this picture and then I can decide.
I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just attracted to Mae Martin, and I'm like every person
You're like
skinny
Mae Martin,
and white
Mae Martin.
and blonde. Yeah. Anywho, so Clara's freaking out because she's like, oh my God, that's not real, that I'm not real. And then at some point, Clara like kind of like runs away being dramatic. But then she kind of realizes she should look into it. So she goes outside and she goes to this like door across the street and she tries to open the door, but like her hand goes through the door. Yeah. And she's like, what? So then she goes all the way in there because she is curious and she sees just like black, kind of like what was happening when Brandy first came in. Yeah. And then she starts to see all of the memories of Dorothy's life. So she sees the actress's life and she sees that she was gay. Yeah. And probably part of why she had her drug issue or depression, I think, is because she wasn't allowed to be gay. She wasn't allowed, yeah. Which goes back to Evelyn Hugo. No spoilers, but I told you it's gay and it's celebrities set in like the 40s. So we realized that she was gay and we're like, oh my God, it's so perfect that Alex / Brandy is a woman now. Yeah. Anyway, so now that she realizes that, she goes back and she goes back out of that like world, that black world, and goes across the street and is like talking to Brandy. She plays the piano for her. They're doing sex stuff. Maybe they're sucking toes. I don't know.
We don't know their preferences.
We don't see that part, but it could be happening. And then like days are passing and they're like in love and blah, 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 blah. And then they say, I love you to each other. And then Brandy's like, but do you love me for me? Or do you love me because you were written to love Alex Palmer? And she's like, you're not Alex Palmer. Like, she's like,
she makes a valid point, though, honestly. Like, she discovered all of this. It's not the same. And she grew a dimension. So who's to say she didn't grow more dimensions and it's like, okay, I can have the ability. Because even in the movie, she was like, if it didn't hit the romance, like, part, then she just wouldn't be attracted. Yeah. Even though she's written to fall in love. Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
Yes. But then, basically right after that, I think, right after that is when the studio finally gets access back. And they're like, okay, we're gonna have to we're back. We're gonna have to restart at the scorpion scene. And Brandy is like, wait, what? Because she can hear it in her ear, but Clara Dorothy can't hear it. Anyway, they're like, okay, we're gonna reset at like, I think they count down from 10 or count down from 5. And this is back to what Angelina said earlier. She totally could have stopped it. She like waited until they were literally at like 1 and is like, no, wait. And I'm like, what? You didn't really care that much, girl. And so then they're back at the scorpion scene. Clara doesn't remember anything. She feels bad because they kissed and she's married. She doesn't realize her husband is the one that wants to kill her. Yeah. She doesn't remember that she's not real. Like, she doesn't remember any of this. And at some point, Brandy like kind of goes off on her own in the hallway and asks Kimmy through the earpiece thing, like, is there a way that I could stay with Clara? And Kimmy's like, what are you talking about? And then she kind of like backs off. Like, she's like, that's weird. That was a weird question. And so then at some point we see that the husband was planning another murder attempt. He is going to try to get Clara Dorothy up on the like balcony thing and get her to like fall off.
Yeah, like basically, off. Fall off the rail.
Like, because I think they're loosening the rail. Yeah, something like that. And so basically, Clara doesn't believe that her husband's trying to kill her. Alex is trying to tell her, like, no, it's him. And she's like, no, he wouldn't do that. And so then the plan to fix that plot hole is that Clara needs to tell Alex / Brandy that she doesn't want to see her ever again. Oh, no, that's not it. To fix the plot hole, Alex / Brandy must go to the police station and report Claude's murder plan. And when she goes to do that, the old lady is there and she's like, someone killed my dog. And they don't really care about the dog.
Like, we don't give a fuck about
which is so sad. And so she tells the inspector about the plot hole. She tells the inspector that he's sneezing because his allergies are due to his own cologne. So she still gets to diagnose him. And that should fix the plot hole and keep Brandy from getting shot. And then while this is happening, Claude, the husband, takes Clara to the roof and he's trying to make her like fall off. He's even like, at first he tries to like make it look like an accident. And then basically he's like, stand over there. Yeah. You're gonna fall off of this on accident. And so then Brandy / Alex comes and interrupts. He holds the gun at Dr. Alex Palmer / Brandy, and it goes off in the air, and Clara gets it, and then she kills Claude. So she kills her husband, which is good because he's a bad person. But it's bad because they're like, oh my gosh, the cops are going to come and arrest you. And so Brandy's like, no, I'm going to say I did it. Brandy / Alex is like, I'm going to say it was me. And then they're arguing over it. And then they say, I love you. And they kiss. And then the inspector person, they all come up there because they heard the gunshot. The inspector person is about to say that whole line that fixes it by saying, oh no, that's the doctor that diagnosed my allergies. But Clara shoots him. She's trigger happy AF. She was like, you don't know me? Like Violet in the last episode. And so then the cops shoot her. And she's dying in Brandy's arms. And she says, don't cry for me, remember me. Yeah. And then Brandy says the final line. While her heart breaks, she says, I'll be yours forevermore. And then the credits roll. And then she can be brought back to reality. So it changed the outcome of the movie, but it's still going to be a success.
Still going to be a hit.
I feel like they show like the new movie being released. Brandy's still popular, but she's like really sad because her love is gone. And it's basically her fault because she could have stopped the whole thing from restarting.
She could have stayed there with her.
Yeah, I would have stayed there.
Exactly.
Like, I don't need other people, no offense. But like if I was there with my wife, I would be like, this is awesome. Yeah. I'm not going to leave. But anyway, whatever, she did. And then she's like still sad in her mansion, and in her like, I think she's in a limo at one point being like sad she's like, and emo.
Again,
she's always a sad girl. And then she gets a package and she opens it and it's a USB. So she connects it to like her computer and it connects to Dorothy's screen test like audition thing that she watched before. And in that, I didn't tell you this before because it didn't seem important, but it is. The phone rings in it and Dorothy is supposed to answer the phone. So at this point, basically, I think Redream did this for her.
Yeah, it was like a little present.
They made this fancy AI type of thing so that she can call her, so they can talk. So when Brandy calls her, you can see Dorothy on the screen answering, and they're talking to each other. So she can still talk to her love, which is good, even though it's not like the happiest ending. Because they're not like together, but at least she can like plug in the USB and talk to her. So that's something. So that's how it ends. Yeah, it was cute. I don't know. It was a lot. I don't know if cute is the best way to describe all of the sci-fi-ness, but it was cute.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to what I think of it on the ratings, but
actually, so I think before we do the ratings, we will do our version of Fuck, Marry, Kill again,
which is Munch, Merge, Murder. So the options are Brandy, Kimmy, and Dorothy. What are you gonna do to them?
Okay.
That sounded so weird, but I'm like,
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I'm not into toes,
that's
you
crazy.
guys.
I know you hate toes, but you're so fixated on them right now.
I think I was like scared that was gonna happen, and I was
like,
gonna be like,
don't.
weird. So anywho, Munch, Merge, Murder. I guess I would probably I don't know. I guess I would munch. I would munch Dorothy. I like that Mae Martin vibe. I would merge with Brandy because she's really rich, and also I like that she was like wearing a suit. I'm very into women in suits, even though that was the character. And then I would kill Kimmy. I mean, her character was fine, but I wasn't that into it. What about you?
I feel the same way. I would murder Kimmy. I just don't like Aquafina. I think she's just annoying. Maybe that was my bias. Like, maybe if she played a different character. Yeah, already. I do. But I think I would munch Brandy, merge with Dorothy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You would go back into Movieland and be with Dorothy.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So for your rating, on a scale of 1 to 5 cherries, what would you rate this episode?
I would say a 4 out of 5 because I thought it was really good, but also I dislike sad endings. I like a happy ending. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. I feel like I was going to give it the same rating. I was also going to say 4 out of 5 because I like it. I like that it was gay.
Yeah.
I like that it was a cool idea. The whole concept was interesting to me. I wish that she would have stayed with her, but I do like that they added a semi-happy ending by being like, well, she can still talk to her.
They're like, here's something for you guys.
Yeah, so it was better than it could be. So 4 out of 5. If you're enjoying But I'm a Lesbian, please head over to our Instagram and TikTok and follow to stay up to date for our newest episodes, hot takes, and breaking gay news. Follow at But I'm a Lesbian pod on TikTok, Instagram, and even Facebook.
And now it's time for What's Up with the Heteros?
I wonder that a lot. No offense. I just don't know what it's like to live a hetero life. So I do wonder what's up. And there are a lot of great hetero people. The people I'm going to talk about in this episode are not great, though. So just so you know.
Yeah. Don't be like these heteros,
okay? Yeah, don't. Please don't. So I want to talk about this because I know that we are going to put this episode out during Pride Month. Yes. I think probably a lot of people have heard about this, but I didn't hear. Apparently, this is the second year of this man in Idaho that owns a bar and has a lot of kids. He has 6 children, which that's fine if you have 6 children, but please don't raise them to like be homophobic, which he is trying to do. Yeah. So he, I guess, last year had like a hetero Pride Month type of thing. And he now this year is having Hetero Awesome Fest. So this is his response to Pride festivals, Boise Pride, basically. He's talked mad shit about Boise Pride on Facebook. He says, I don't have a problem. He's one of those people. I don't have a problem with the gays, but they're trying to do indecent things and tell our children to cut their genitals off.
Oh my god.
So he's like, I don't know. He's giving MAGA. He's giving fake news. He's got brainworms.
Exactly.
Bad stuff is going on. And he said he thought of the idea because one of his many children's birthday is in June. And he was like, oh my God, we couldn't go to Boise because they were doing Pride. They were doing all this immoral stuff. So I wanted to have like a wholesome festival that celebrates, I don't remember his exact wording, but basically like celebrates God's plan for
I'm
humans,
sorry if you
right?
believe in God, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. I cannot help that. Go ahead.
Also, if there is a God, I'm pretty sure that being would not be homophobic and transphobic and sexist and racist.
Yes. I mean, ill in the way as like, don't use it to be homophobic and a shitty person.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's having this awesome fest. He's having things at his bar, such as beers for breeders, which is like a discount if you are straight, or maybe if you have kids. Do you have to actively be breeding
in front of him? He's like, you get a free
straight
beer
sex in front of me.
Yes, because
that's not immoral because it's
so
straight.
Immoral. Yeah, he's gonna bring his kids to the bar. He's gonna see all the breeders.
This is normal.
This is what you need to do. Okay,
it's like in But I'm in Cheerleader when they have them like like in those like skin costumes with like the Adam and Eve
simulating,
and they're supposed to like pretend to have like straight sex. Anyway, he's weird. He also is having something that is like a ladies' night type of thing, but it's only for straight women. Straight women get deals that night, and it's like, okay,
how do you prove that they're straight?
Exactly.
You just say you're straight.
You can just say
like, make out with her, and if you like it, then get the fuck out of my bar.
It's like, what is he going to judge? There's a lot of women. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to Idaho, but I know there's a lot of women in all kinds of different states especially when they get a little older and they cut their hair off and they work on a farm, and I'm like, is this a lesbian or just like a middle-aged farm woman? So how's he going to judge? How's he going to know if they're straight? Anyway, that's ridiculous. In case you didn't know, I'm pretty sure you do if you're listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to have a straight pride parade. There's no reason to have a straight pride or a hetero awareness. Literally every day is straight pride day.
Mm-hmm.
They are in the majority of people. They are the dominant demographic. We have pride because pride is for those who have been oppressed because of their identities, not for straight people. We love the allies to come to Pride and be supportive. That's fine. But straight pride, ridiculous. I remember we live in California. They had something like this in Modesto, like a few years ago.
Of course
we don't live in Modesto, but I heard about it because it's in California. And I was like, ew. Anyway, no good. Don't go to that, please. Don't support it. Do you have anything else to add?
I feel like I think it is just so crazy how they're just so obsessed with us. It's like,
yeah, they hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, they really want to be us, but they can never be. We love straight people if you're cool, but if you're ugly and shitty like that, then it's just not for us. I'm sorry.
Your ugliness on the inside goes to your outside.
Yeah. So therefore you're ugly.
Yes.
I
agree.
Okay, good. I'm like,
yeah. No, I laugh because I think of like my wife is so sweet. No, that too. But I think of how my wife is so sweet. And like when she hears something bad about a celebrity, even if they're really hot, she'll forever be like, they're so ugly.
She's like, ew.
She's like, ew, she's hideous. And I'm like, babe, like she's literally beautiful. And she's like, but her personality makes her ugly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, good. I'm glad that you think that I have a beautiful personality then, because otherwise, why would you be with me? But I think that was a really fun episode, even though we had to talk about a terrible thing that's happening in Idaho.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in to But I'm a Lesbian. We are your go-to for sapphic media reviews, WLW drama, and unfiltered queer takes. If you enjoyed the show, or even if you didn't, but I hope you did, please like, share, and subscribe on every platform. Yes, all of them, please. Leave us a review to help support the queer community and keep this lesbian-led pod thriving. After all, the algorithm's a bitch and we're just two lesbians with mics trying to survive out here.
Make sure to tune in next week. We will be discussing San Junipero, episode 4, season 3 of Black Mirror. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday, y'all.
Bye. Executive producers for But I'm a Lesbian are Katlynn Beatty and Angelina Herrera. Produced and mixed by Victoria Shifley. Creative direction and video editing provided by Juanita Iraite. Music by Stiletto Falsetto.